Arctic air is dropping south, the polar vortex is splitting, and the eastern United States is about to experience a prolonged period of below normal temperatures with multiple chances for snow. Let me show you what the data indicates. We repassed the point of speculation. The pattern shift is underway. A cold front moved through last night. You felt it this morning. Wind picked up, temperatures dropped. That was just the preview. Starting with current conditions because that's where forecasts begin. The contrast across the country right now sets up everything that follows. The jet stream has buckled. We've got a ridge building over the western states, a deep trough digging into the east. This configuration funnels cold air straight down from Canada. No blocking pattern to deflect it, no warm air reservoir to moderate it, just a direct pipeline from the Arctic. The first meaningful system arrives Thursday, January 15th. This isn't a coastal storm. It's a broad area of low pressure affecting inland sections. The Ohio Valley sees snow first, then it spreads into the interior mid-Atlantic. Pennsylvania, western Maryland, West Virginia. The Northeast gets involved Thursday night into Friday. Accumulations vary by location. Higher terrain picks up more. Valley locations see less, but we are looking at measurable snow across a wide swath. National Weather Service forecasts suggest 3 to 6 inches for most areas within this zone. Some spots exceed that, particularly the Berkshires and higher elevations in New England where the low intensifies before departing. This system moves relatively quickly, in and out within 36 hours, then we re-watching what develops next. Sunday the 18th brings our next opportunity, and this is where forecaster confidence drops. Two major forecast models, two different outcomes. The European model shows a storm that never quite organizes near the coast. The steering currents run parallel to the shoreline rather than perpendicular to it. Moisture stays offshore, maybe some light snow for coastal New England. Interior areas stay dry. The American GFS model has been adamant for multiple runs. It develops a significant coastal low, tracks it from the Carolinas northward, brings substantial snowfall to the entire eastern seaboard. We re-talking about a potentially major winter storm if this solution verifies. Here's what I'm watching to determine which model has it right. The position of the 50-50 low. That is the low pressure system that typically sits near 50 degrees north latitude, 50 degrees west longitude in the North Atlantic. If it retrogrades westward, it blocks the storm from escaping out to sea, forces it closer to the coast. That favors the GFS solution. If the 50-50 low stays progressive and moves eastward, the European solution looks better. Storm stays offshore. Right now, uncertainty is high. We 6 days out. Storm track forecasts beyond 5 days have limited skill. I am not dismissing either solution. Both are plausible given the overall pattern. Moving beyond that system, regardless of which solution verifies, we retracking additional disturbances. The 20th shows southern stream energy moving across the Gulf states. These systems typically produce lighter snow events across the deep south, an inch or two from East Texas through the Tennessee Valley, enough to disrupt travel in areas without snow removal infrastructure, not enough to be called a major storm. Then around the 22nd, we re-watching for a more organized system. This one taps both northern and southern branches of the jet stream. When energy phases from both streams, storms intensify. The European model shows heavy snow for the Northeast following this merger. Timing puts it late Thursday into Friday. But let us address what's really driving this pattern, the temperature forecast. The stratospheric polar vortex is splitting. This isn't a speculation, it's happening. Satellite data confirms it. When the vortex splits, Arctic air masses that normally stay locked over the polar region get displaced southward. We see this in stages. Mid-month, temperatures drop to 10 to 15 degrees below normal. That's noticeable but not extreme. Daytime highs in the 20s and 30s. Overnight lows in the teens for much of the east. Around January 20th, another surge. Now we are 20 to 25 degrees below normal. Single-digit highs possible for parts of the interior northeast. Below zero overnight for the northern tier. The models are showing something more significant for the 24th and 25th. Temperature anomalies of 30 degrees or more below average. Actual air temperatures, not wind chills, dropping below zero for a massive area. The upper Midwest sees the worst of it, -20 to -40 in some locations. But even areas as far south as the Ohio Valley could touch zero or below. Is this forecast reliable at 15 days out? The trend is reliable. Cold air is coming. The vortex split guarantees that. The exact magnitude of the coldest day, that number will change. It might end up colder than currently forecasted. It might moderate slightly, but we're re-looking at a legitimate Arctic outbreak either way. Now, what should you do with this information? First, don't panic. Cold weather happens in January. Snow happens in winter. Neither is apocalyptic, but both require preparation. If you haven't serviced your snow removal equipment, do it this week, not the night before the first snow. This week. Snowblowers need fresh fuel. Old gas from last winter clogs carburetors. Change it out. Check the oil. Inspect the belts and auger. Make sure it actually runs. Shovels. You need more than one. They break. Have a backup. Metal shovels work better on ice. Plastic shovels move powder more easily. Get both types. Ice melt. Buy it now while stores have inventory. Once the first snow hits, shelves empty. You are left with whatever random product remains. Get what you need ahead of time. For the extreme cold forecasted late month, evaluate your heating system. When was it last serviced? Furnaces that run fine at 20 degrees can struggle at -10. If your system is older or hasn't been maintained, consider having it checked. Better to find a problem now than at 2 in the morning when it's -15 outside. Have a backup heating source. If you lose power, you need options. Fireplace if you have one. Make sure you have dry wood. Space heaters if you use them safely. Never run them unattended. Never use your oven or stove for heat. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people every winter. Speaking of carbon monoxide, check your detector. Replace batteries if needed. Replace the entire unit if it is more than 7 years old. This isn't optional. It is life-saving equipment. For those living alone or with elderly family members, extreme cold is dangerous. Hypothermia doesn't just happen outside. It happens inside homes with inadequate heat. Check on people. Make sure they re-warm. Make sure they have food that doesn't require cooking in case power fails. Water pipes freeze when temperatures stay below 20 degrees for extended periods, even more likely below zero. Pipes in exterior walls are most vulnerable. Unheated basements, crawl spaces, let faucets drip overnight during the coldest nights. Running water, even a trickle, resist freezing. Open cabinet doors under sinks. Allow warm air to circulate around pipes. If pipes do freeze, don't use an open flame to thaw them. I've seen houses burn down from this. Use a hairdryer. Warm towels, space heater aimed at the pipe from a safe distance. If you can access the frozen section safely, call a plumber. For driving in snow, reduce your speed by at least half. If the posted limit is 50, drive 25. Four-wheel drive helps you go. It doesn't help you stop. Ice doesn't care what kind of vehicle you have. Increase following distance to at least 6 seconds. Bridges freeze before roads. Overpasses are slick when everything else is just wet. If you don't absolutely need to drive during or immediately after heavy snow, don't. There's no prize for being the first person out. Let plows do their work. Wait until conditions improve. Frostbite becomes a concern when temperatures drop below zero. Wind makes it worse. Exposed skin can freeze in under 10 minutes at -10 with any wind. Cover your face. Wear insulated gloves, not cotton. Cotton loses all insulating value when wet. Wool or synthetic materials maintain warmth even if damp. Multiple thin layers beat one heavy coat. Air trapped between layers insulates. You can also adjust by removing a layer if you get too warm from exertion. Sweating in extreme cold is dangerous. Moisture against skin accelerates heat loss. For those in southern states, that system around the 20th could bring rare snow. Even an inch creates problems when cities lack snowplows and residents lack experience driving in it. If you're in Mississippi or Alabama and see snow in the forecast, stay home. Don't attempt to drive. You don't have winter tires. Your city doesn't have salt trucks. What would be routine in Michigan becomes a multi-car pile-up disaster in Mobile. Returning to the forecast uncertainty I mentioned for January 18th. This is important. Long-range forecasts show possibilities, not certainties. When a model shows a major snowstorm 7 days out, that's a signal to pay attention. It's not a guarantee it will happen exactly as shown. Weather forecasting skill decreases with time. At 24 hours, we quite accurate. At 3 days, pretty good. At 7 days, the overall pattern is usually right, but details change. At 10 to 15 days, we can identify trends. We can nail down specifics. That final cold blast forecasted for the 24th, the timing could shift by 2 days either direction. The intensity could be more or less extreme. The geographic extent could expand or contract. The trend toward much colder weather is solid. The precise details will evolve. Monitor updates. The National Weather Service provides the most reliable forecast for your specific location. Their website breaks down forecasts by county, hourly predictions, hazardous weather outlooks. Winter storm watches get issued when there's 50% or better chance of significant snow or ice within 72 hours. Warnings come when conditions are imminent. This pattern we re-entering looks active. Multiple systems. Sustained cold. If you are a winter weather enthusiast, you'll want to watch. If you despise cold and snow, you'll need to endure it. Either way, preparation makes it manageable. Wait until the storm is 12 hours away and you are competing with everyone else for supplies and services. Handle it this week while there's no pressure. I'll be tracking these systems as they develop. Updates will follow as confidence increases. The data is clear. Cold is coming. Snow opportunities exist. How much and exactly where requires patience as forecasts refine, but the pattern shift is real